What's up guys, Guggen Barbecue here, and we've got the smoke rolling on this beautiful summer day. It's time to make some awesome scratch-made baked beans cooked on the smoker. So if you're interested to see how I made this, stay tuned. We're going to let our beans soak overnight, and then tomorrow we're going to simmer them for about an hour to an hour and a half. Then our second step, which I'm doing the night before as well, is to roast our tomatoes and make our tomato-based sauce for the beans. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got a little bit of olive oil here, and I'm making a double batch, so I've got 3 to 4 pounds of tomatoes, but use 2 pounds if you're just making a single batch. And we're just going to drizzle that olive oil over the top of these tomatoes, and we're going to put them in the oven in this pan for about 40 minutes to an hour until the skin starts to shrivel a little bit and break, and they get a nice little brown crispy bits on the outside. Alright, so now that we have our olive oil drizzled over the top, let's pop them in the oven, and we'll check back in about 45 minutes to an hour and see how they look. And an hour later, looks like they're about done. This is the texture I'm looking for. You can see the skins kind of tighten up a little bit, and they get a little bit of char on them, so perfect. Now they're ready to blend. I let our tomatoes cool a little bit, and we got them in our blender, and now we're just going to blend them up. And a blender isn't really the ideal tool to be blending tomatoes like this. You can see it really aerates them and turns it to an orange color. So if you have a food mill, that would be the best way to go about doing this. But I don't have one, so I had to use a blender, and it'll work all right. And in the end, the beans will still be that deep brown color that you're used to. Alright, it's the next morning. Time to simmer these beans. And I'm also going to add some beer for flavor here. Some people add some whiskey, but I prefer to use like a good IPA or something like that. So we're going to let this roll for about an hour to an hour and a half until they have the texture that we're looking for. And then we'll be ready to add all the ingredients together and get them on the smoker. So I've got 1 Vidalia onion, you can use a sweet onion, 1 poblano pepper, and 1 jalapeno pepper. And I've diced all that up. And I'm going to add it to this cast iron skillet and fry these up until the onions are translucent. Now we're going to add 1 clove of finely diced garlic. And we're going to cook that for about 30 seconds, and then we'll be ready to add that in with our beans and the rest of our ingredients. We've added the onions, the pepper, and the garlic into the beans, and now it's time to combine all of our ingredients together. I'm going to add about 1 cup to 1.5 cups of beef broth. I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of barbecue sauce. Then I'm going to add in our tomato mixture. We're going to add in a little bit more of that IPA beer. 1 cup of brown sugar. About 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire Sauce. About 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard. And we'll do about 2 tablespoons of molasses. Maybe a little more for good measure. And a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons. And we're going to stir all of that up and combine everything really well. And then we'll be ready to cook this on our smoker. We've got our beans out here. We have the smoker rolling right around 275, and we've got them on the smoker. So we're just going to periodically check back and stir them, maybe about every 30 minutes to an hour. It's been about 4 hours, and I'm really liking the way these beans are looking. So now I'm going to add in about 2 pounds of chopped up brisket, which I had made in a previous cook and had frozen. So I always recommend saving any leftover meats like brisket or pulled pork or anything that you think would taste good in beans. I love adding brisket in my beans. And we're just going to stir this in here, and we're going to let it keep cooking for a few more hours until everything looks really good and the beans have the texture I'm looking for. And as you can tell, the Boston butt is getting a little darker, so you can tell we've really progressed with our cook. And these beans are starting to look really, really good. They've definitely got a little bit longer to go, but we're going to keep stirring them and keep checking back. But they can pretty much stay on the smoker the whole time that the Boston butt's on there, so anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. Just make sure if they're starting to look a little dry, add some more beef broth or some sort of liquid so you can keep those beans hydrated. And after about 8 hours, check out the results. Look at that deep color and the flavor with the brisket and all the other ingredients that we added and the really good smoky flavor we get from this offset smoker. Everything ties together and it becomes a really delicious dish that I'd be proud to serve to anybody. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you in the next one.